Hey YouTube, I'm Brick Smith, and welcome to Forever Sorting with Old Gray Bricks.
Hello, how are you? Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Whenever you're watching this, it's good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Giddens, aka Fazoom, aka OG, Old Gray Bricks, aka you name it.
The Space Boy.
Space Boy. Yep. So, as you guys can see, this is not Kevin. Kevin and I were taking a break.
I'm the anti-Kevin.
Do what?
I'm the anti-Kevin.
Yeah, no. But we're taking 4 weeks off. Kevin's story is complete. It's archived on my channel. I'm sorry, I don't have the playlist all the way up to where it should be. I think it kicks off at 40 and we were done at 80. I don't know what episode this is. This is episode Space One. I don't know. and I've met Chris here in the last few months through Lego Masters post show. He started watching it, and that's when he showed up in the live room or in my live chat, and we got to know each other. And being a bango, the few days before recording this, we met in real life in person at COVID convention 2020 in Noonan, Georgia.
Not a real thing.
It's not a real thing, but real things happened. It's great.
That's right.
So,
I think the Lego Masters thing, and then you happen to be in a live chat and I wandered in, and you're like, here's my phone number. Somebody send me your phone number. And I just happened to. So that's how
that was awesome. Also, if you're looking for my phone number, just DM me. I got you. Whoever you are. I still got somebody sneaking that, like, somebody else got my number and they still haven't told me who they are. And they're texting me things like, if COVID doesn't take you out, can I? I'm like, well, I mean, I am cheap, so it's cool. But so I learned some background on this guy, and he's intriguing, interesting, and it makes me happy to call him a friend now.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the story, and I mean, this is just a 4-part miniseries. This is 4. Okay. Nothing personal, Chris, but fill the gap.
Well, and just a 4-part story. This is like Rogue One, right? Or something, a side story of Star Wars. Yeah. Kevin is Star Wars. This is a side story. So,
right. And that's not to throw off on him. I promise he could give you 2.5 years.
That's right. He actually joined us in our live stream on Old Gray Bricks tonight. That was really fun, and so that was awesome. But anyway, Kevin's a good guy. I'm an old adult fan of Lego. I've been doing Lego for 42 years.
And that's why right there.
Yeah, I've been there, done that. I've seen Lego kind of grow from knowing there were other adult or teen fans or adult fans of Lego, even in the 80s and 90s. And then finding
it was 2012 before it was 2012 before I found out that there were a thing called an AFOL.
Is that right? So yeah, no. I remember when that term came about. I mean, I can remember Rec Toys Lego or Alt Rec Toys Lego. I can remember when I've discovered Lugnet. Even through Lugnet, when the community started building, I've made friends through Lego like you recently, and and I've made friends like my friend Mark Sandlin or Gil Shaw in Canada or Nathan Proudlove. Those guys I've known for years because of Lugnet and ClassicSpace.com, which we ran for a while, and Flickr, which is that thing you don't know what is, and all that kind of stuff. So, and
let me cut you off real quick. Just like Kevin coming from the Lego group and me coming from the YouTube Lego community, and bridging the gap between. Because I know Kevin knows YouTubers, but he didn't know our group of YouTubers.
Right.
You guys know who you are. And with Chris, what do you want? Chris? Okay, Chris. With Chris, I sat here and I was,
Space Boy.
Space Boy. With Chris here, I sat here and I was like, you know what? I feel like that will bridge another gap because, like he said, 42. And there are some YouTubers, some Lego YouTubers that are like, oh, they're not nice. They're only on Flickr. They say they talk about Lugnet, and that's it. And then you have some of the old guys, YouTube. What is that? I don't think I want any part of this. These children don't know what they're talking about. They don't know about, and it's just let's bridge the gap, Chris.
Yeah, no, I agree. And and honestly, I didn't really understand that there was a big YouTube community, and immediately assumed, well, these are just people who are running Lego and showing what's at Walmart or stuff like that. But there were some shows that I would pick up and watch a little bit, but me as what a serious Lego builder, not as much as a collector, I'm like, but just collecting sets. So but my eyes have kind of been open to that there's a whole new wedge of
there are collectors on YouTube.
Yeah. No. There's all sorts of
builders on YouTube, and then there's city builders on YouTube, and train guys on YouTube, and this on YouTube.
That's right.
There's a niche you can fit in it, but something that myself and Kevin were trying to do was bridge all the gaps and bring everybody in the community together as best we could.
Right.
And I feel like you are a is pillar, cornerstone pillar, something.
Are you meaning like soft and fluffy white pillow? Then you are good. If you mean pillar as something weight is on, man, I don't know.
I just feel like it's another corner. Like, okay, so he said he's been playing with Lego for 42 years. I am 42 years old.
There you go. So when you were born, I got my first Lego set. So.
Right, and when I was born, I died and just pooped my pants. But I have respect for where he's at, what he's doing, where he's been, what's going on with him, and the fact that he had his eyes open to the new community and figured that his story, some of his story, parts of his story, there are things that we'll touch on. There's a question. I heard Dana say something about a Giddens gear. Or is that what he said?
Yeah.
Is that an inside? Well, we can talk about it later. I want to know if it's an inside joke or if it's like something like the community's like, yeah, I know that.
It's an inside joke because they make fun of the landing gear I put on spaceships. But anyway, that's more Sandlin's fault. Anyway, so
well, I heard Dana say it, and I heard Mark say it, and I was like, wow,
it's well known for it. Well, that's the funny thing is communities kind of ebb and tide, and I've seen a few of those, and this is just I'll just go ahead and say this is a warning for everybody who's a Lego fan. Your community that you're in will ebb and it will flow and it will fade. If you're just stuck, you're going to miss where the community is. I've discovered even just through the Lego YouTube community, even though I haven't really paid attention to Discord, there's a lot of Lego Discords attached to Twitch, attached to some, and all of a sudden there's guys I haven't talked to, old fans like me that I discovered on Discord. I hadn't talked to some of them in years. And
so you drop all you want here.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
you don't have to. I'm just saying you can.
I haven't had enough Mountain Dew to remember their names, but anyway, but I mean, I found friends that I haven't talked to in a long time that we used to hang out in shows in the mid 2000s and maybe chatted, and then you lose touch. Yep. And if you don't, and now one of the things as an old fan that I miss is having that very central location where everybody communicated. And that was back in the Lugnet days when it was really early. Yeah, right. In the Flickr days, then when we kind of splintered into classicspace.com as a bulletin board website, with the forums and all that kind of stuff. All that, but the community kept moving. And where the new kids were kind of jumping in with us and then finding their place to go, those places became more and more, and it became harder and harder to keep up with. Yeah. And part of me was like, I'm not going to do it because, you know, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
There's other things about being burned out running a site and stuff we can talk about later.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because there is some Lego burnout you get trying to run communities and be a part of it. But if you don't follow where the community's going and where the new kids coming in who build so much better than you do, so much faster than you do, if you don't give them some respect, they are going to leave you in the dust.
Yep.
But you're also going to become disconnected, and the mean old man rocking on your porch telling those Bionicle kids to get off your lawn or whatever. So, you got to be very careful.
I've actually seen that in the short time that I've been on the YouTube community. Like, there's been live streams once a week since 2014,
Right.
that are community-based, Lego community-based live streams, and I've been in early ones early on, and I don't see those people anymore.
Right.
If I don't talk to them, they're not there.
Right. That's right. And I mean, people fade out. People who are amazing builders just get tired. This is also kind of an artistic medium. It is
Oh yeah.
It is, you know, this kind of stuff. You're putting yourself out there to be judged by others. You don't like it. You fade out, or you just don't get the thrill of building anymore.
Or you can't keep up with the Joneses and you run off.
Yeah, all of a sudden this kid's getting 16 million of this new part. And I don't even know what that new part is.
Right.
There's a lot that can, as you get to be an older AFOL, you can be discouraged really easy and you can fade out.
Yep.
And I've faced that too. I mean, I've had those periods. So
those are called your gray. Yeah.
Well, I've always I don't want to ever be the one that's really. Number one, of the guys I grew up with, I consider myself fairly average with the skills of some of those guys. You do
all right. You do good work.
No. Well, like Adrian Drake, who built the Serenity to scale. That guy, he's a friend. A guy named Bahram Lambrick. He's one of the smartest guys I ever met. He's one of the ones I've run back into. When he was in college and he was building, we were like, this guy's going to be the evil scientist. He's going to build a layer. He's going to have a big laser beam, and holding countries for ransom for billions of dollars. Actually, he's not. I think he actually builds. I'm correct. He's building medical walking assist robot legs, something crazy like that. He's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
but a little mad scientist too. Still,
yeah. I want to be involved in doing this to me. Next time I see him. But we saw that group. We would see each other online every day in our forums, and we would do a convention together like every year at the same time. And then life moves, and I have a kid, and they get married, and so you lose contact, and when you lose connection with your community, it can hurt your Lego building. Now, you got to, I don't want to get philosophical. You got to guard whether you're doing it for attention or you're doing it for your own creativity. There's a little bit of both. You want praise for what you're doing. But I, in my life, have seen me wanting too much and being discouraged by that. So there are periods where I'm like, you know what, and I've had a long period of that where I'm like, I'm just going to build for me. I'm going to pop a kind of a picture on that Flickr website and maybe get 2 or 3 people to notice. As long as they're my friends, that's what matters.
Yeah.
But then there's those who, if you do something quality, you probably want to take a quality picture of it or a video.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is now with YouTube, YouTube progress videos are like Flickr videos or Flickr pictures back in the day.
Yeah.
You put something and people could put notes on it and it would help you build better. Well, I think, progress videos for people building big projects and stuff serve some of that purpose too. So that's good. Yeah. I mean, I like it. So I'm learning that those things that I loved in the past still exist. They're just in different form. And I just don't need to be an old man on his rocking chair, telling the kids to get off.
That's a good thing. And I can tell you, I can't answer for all quote unquote new AFOLs, but like I discussed it earlier, I've been an AFOL for 8 years, and I want nothing more than more friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm an introvert. Like I saw on last week's episode, I'm an introvert. Right. I've got I got less than 5 real life friends in town, you know, that I could sit there and see. And yeah. And so, but I do like the interaction of the Lego community. We're all here on a common goal, or at least we're supposed to be in my mind. And I get run over quite a bit because of it, but that's okay, because if they fall off as a friend, somebody else new is coming.
Yeah. You got to, you know, that's also the nature of internet friends. There is a lot of, I mean, Mark Shannon is my friend for life, right? Well, you're my boon companion. Anyway, he is, and we've been through thick and thin doing a lot of stuff. And he and I are philosophically, in a lot of ways, different. We build different. We think different. We believe different in a lot of ways. The brick, though, is the brick, and our geekiness, you know, do help us have a great friendship, and we do, and everything. So you can develop those friendships, you know, with the Lego community. If you do it for the right reasons. If you're just making friends to move up the ladder, then you know, no.
That's not what you do.
Yeah, and back in my day, when there were 200 fans, adult fans of Lego who were active in a community, it was a little easier to maybe stand out or whatever, and everything. But you know what? Don't worry about it. Just do your thing, and maybe recognition will come when you skill up and everything. And there's no better way to skill up than being in a community where you allow some people to go, hey man, you could do better. I mean, or you're in a community where you're watching people do better, as you like to say.
Hey,
and it makes you better.
I'm going to interrupt you right there. I'm not a castle builder. I went to Brick Fair, Alabama. Actually, it started Philly 19 with Garden Slug. They did a huge castle.
My favorite name for a lug, by the way. I love
Garden Slug. It's a good one. They did a huge gray castle. Mostly it was the ambassador who built it, but like the other people kicked in some. And then I go to, and I'm like, this and that happened, and I decided to build this pink monstrosity. And then I got to Alabama, and I'm like, I did this. Look at me. I'm proud. And I went over and saw Mark's, and I was like, okay, good job. And I can't ever remember Mark's last name, but he was down in Alabama.
Mark of Fallworth? Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy. And he did, to me, I was like, this is excellent on so many levels. You the man. And he's got to be half my age. Half my age. Huh?
At least. But you know what? The thing I've noticed also, except for a few outliers there, and I've had people come to me that like my stuff, and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Dude, I'm a dude, man. I'm just a guy." And Mark is one of the most gracious people you're going to meet.
Down to earth,
super kind.
Yeah,
he's going to be like, "Hey, I mean, you know, calm down." For me, it actually makes me a little more nervous when somebody's kind of fanboying at you, because I'm like, I mean, in my belief system, I don't want that fanboying, because that kind of stuff. But I've also learned to say, man, that's so kind of you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because they do like it, and you do inspire them and everything. You know, I think the goal is to be creative and inspire, sure, but just build your passion and make it happen. And if somebody appreciates it, then be grateful that they do and show some back. What's the one thing about that Mark is always quick to say, yeah, but look at what you built, and he's for real. He's sincere
when he says it.
Yeah,
he did. He said it to me. He's like, I was doting over him to him about his castle, and he was like, but now, man, yours, you can't miss yours. And
and that's one of the things when you find your thing, when you find your rhythm or your whatever of building, then go for it. Don't get cornered in it, but you know, do it well.
I've done that 3 times. But that's a time for that's a story for another time.
Brick Smith story part 3, right?
No, that's never gonna happen. I'm done.
Yeah, I want to interview you. That would be fun.
No, that's not. Nope. No, that's not how this works, sir. But so you started out, and you've been now. Did you start with sets was it just okay? You're Space Boy now, but in 1978, were you Space Boy?
Well, I wanted to be. I grew up with.
Of course.
I grew up with a brother who liked Star Trek. I can remember being a kid coming out of my bedroom, at night when you're supposed to be asleep, and Mr. Spock is on the TV and all that kind of stuff. My brother watching it late. I'm the youngest by 8 and 13 years of three brothers, so. Right. Okay. I was the hey, look, kid. But in fact, my dad said every time they moved, they had a kid, and he's lived in the same house for 52 years now. So, but anyway, my first sets I remember getting for Christmas, I think in '77, the Universal Building set number 400, I believe that's it, which was had this weird kind of crane thing and all that kind of stuff. And I remember my brother trying to help me focus on instructions and do it. And I'm like, no, but I want to build this. And so it had the minifigs without the movable arms and all that kind of stuff. So I remember getting that set. Also around the same time, I remember getting a yellow Spirit of St. Louis airplane.
All right. Oh, wow.
That was, and I wish I still had because it was really cool. And everything, but I remember building and rebuilding and using those parts. There it is.
You knew I was going to pull it up.
There you go. Yeah, see that little wheeled crane that goes across there? I don't know if you see that. Yeah, look at those on that bigger picture right there.
Right here.
My brother wanted to build that. I'm like, no, I want to build something else. So
of course.
I do remember building that airplane though. Around that time when I had those bricks, a little later on, there was a TV show called Battle of the Planets, which was a cartoon,
nice,
of a Japanese cartoon called Gatchaman, and the ship was red and blue, the Phoenix.
Yeah,
and I can remember every brick it took for me to make that. I can remember always having to search for I had two 1x2 slopes in red, and if I needed them, there was a day of scratching to find that one in the box about this big that I had. So those were my first bricks that I ever had. At the time, there weren't and let me explain something. In those days, and I grew up in rural Georgia. My town has 25. Still to this day has 2,500 people in it. I can remember in high school when we got the traffic light in town.
Oh, lucky you. All we ever got was a caution light.
The blinking light. I remember when they changed the blinking light to the thing. It was front page news, right? I brought a college buddy home to spend the weekend at home, and he got the daily or the weekly paper, and he pulled it up and started laughing. It was at our house because the headline was, and this was in 1991, Town Square gets phone booth, and that was the headline in the thing. He burned me on that one. So I grew up in rural Georgia, so there were no department stores. It was years before there was a Kmart in the town next to us, so there were dime stores and stuff. So Lego was not just so you could go run get Lego. Lego was this rare European toy that certain people had, and mom and dad apparently thought I needed some, which I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
But I had a good friend named Mark Shirley, and when I would go to his house, his mom sorted his Lego into these, and he had about this much Lego. He had it sorted into bins, and he had the old Bendy Maxi Fig, the homemaker sets, but he had the Alpha 1 rocket base, and I will never forget laying my eyes on this spacey set with a crater. It was blue and yellow, and that radar dish on the top that was gray. I didn't have any gray Lego, right? Mm-hmm. Lego was these bright colors. It not only was a gray, it was built snot because it had a bracket and the thing started out and it had handles on the back and there were hoses. But that radar dish, I loved it. It was like, this is space right here. This is science fiction. This is science fiction I can make. Mm-hmm. And he was like, let's go play in the creek. And I'm like, no, I want to sit here.
You're an idiot.
He wanted to go outside and I'm like, I want to play with the Lego and everything. And in fact, I'm hoping I can get in touch with them again. I'm Facebook friends with him and his mom still to this day.
Wow.
They still have those Legos somewhere, and they've kind of hinted, Mark doesn't care about them, that Mark. And so I would love if he had those bricks and I could get those bricks, it would be amazing to have those actual bricks that I remember so well and everything. So, but it went for years that I didn't have that, but I wanted to go to Mark's house to play with that one set because of all the spacey adventures you can have. I can remember him putting on the record LP version of Star Trek, the motion picture.
Oh, wow.
And we would play that in his room while we built with Lego and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
So that's also where I discovered and learned and had my first Little Debbie fudge round. And brother, if there's anything else in my life that has changed my life other than Lego Jesus or anything else, it is Little Debbie fudge rounds. Well, let's just go ahead and put that out there. So, but anyway,
I fell in love with Little Debbie. I don't need it. I didn't have a specific. I loved them all, and they all loved me.
Fudge rounds, baby. Fudge rounds were where it was at, and it's like you couldn't eat 3; you had to have 1, and anyway. So,
for sure, that's
so. Yeah. But those are early memories of Lego, and you have this dream to build a fleet. I remember watching Battlestar Galactica. I remember watching Star Wars. I remember watching all this kind of stuff, and they were fleets, and you're like, I don't only want to make one spaceship. I want to make a bunch of spaceships and all that kind of stuff. So that's then where everybody catches that one moment. Not only am I just getting sets, I want to build an empire for myself, or I want to build a city, a fleet, a train layout, a large castle, whatever. You start saying, I don't want to just create a thing. I want to create a universe that my thing lives in, right? Yeah. And so we get caught up in that. You can do it when you're a kid, and build fairly terribly, or you can wait till you're an adult that you can afford, so quote unquote, the pieces to do it, and then continue.
Brick Jams, real quick. This just in. Patricia said to tell Chris hi.
Hey, second cousin.
And also, my buddy Brick Jams. Everybody knows that me and Brick Jams are connected at the hip. He's my ace boom coon. We sidekicks. He's the money behind the poobah. Everybody knows. By the way, I paid him back for all that I got at the ABC, but don't tell anybody I actually paid him back. I got a standard to uphold where Jamie Terry's care everything. Now, back to what you were talking about with the creating the place. Me and Jamie and I were going through. I did a segment on the show years ago, or a couple of years ago, right after the hurricane. It was Brick Jam's Brick Vault. And we were just going through his overstock room, and it's not, you can't even call it a Lego room. It's floor to ceiling, front to back, nothing but Lego boxes and bags. We were going through that, and he ran across a photo album from when he was a kid, and he showed me the picture of it, and it's the thumbnail for the Brick Vault. But what it was his childhood city. Now, Philly 19, he decided to take and either acquire the sets that he had lost or bring up the ones that he had as a child, and he recreated that city.
Cool.
At Philly.
That's cool.
Just, it's fun, it's just a fun thing, which we're talking about when we're making, and
there's everybody has a different way to enjoy their hobby. Like Kevin likes to say.
Kevin says it all the time.
Yeah, and I can remember I've had my times where I'm like, why do you just collecting Lego for? Why don't you build something? That kind of thing. But everybody just has that thing. But everybody has their space to enjoy the bricks how they want to.
Sure.
Just go right ahead, But there is that moment when you realize especially for mock builders my age or so, I'm still building the stuff that I dreamed of as a kid.
Yeah.
Because I hated having to build Rainbow Warrior, right? And but
do you know, Chris, that I did the Rainbow Warrior for a time on my channel, and then I got pigeonholed, so I ran away from it.
But you know what? That's still cool. That's still cool. Man. That's still cool. I'm glad we got that back together. By the way,
that was a fun
bag of Fruity Pebbles when you got it. It was all in pieces. But But yeah, if you think about when you watched Star Wars and you saw all those intricate little parts on a spaceship, or you watched Star Trek and there was a space base and the ships come in, or my favorite movie of all time is Wrath of Khan, and you have spaceships bashing each other in space.
Yeah.
And you in the interior where the captain's chair is, and you want to think about you being a Lego figure living in a spaceship and all that kind of stuff. And as a kid, you just can't pull it off.
No.
You can kind of fake it, but you can't pull it off. And you keep that dream kind of in your heart, your mind, or whatever. Yeah. And you then get to pull it off. It's super fun. And I think sometimes that's what drives me to do, like the Blacktron stuff I'm doing right now. Honest Engine, I did not like Blacktron when it came out. I'm just going to put that right out there. In 87, 88, I was like, wait a minute, these spaceships are not symmetrical, and they're weird colors. And this is a time when I was kind of having to have that teen, especially in the 80s. You had to kind of hide your nerdness because you get nailed for it. You know what I'm saying?
You think, hey, folks, you kids, you think they were bullies nowadays? In the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't even watch the movies that are from the 80s because of all the bullying.
That's right. If you didn't have a Izod on your shirt, Mom would buy a Tigre sometimes, man. It had the tiger on it, and that wasn't Izod, man. You could get made fun of for that. If you had the fake members only jacket, they knew it. And but you also
look at a kid that wore XJ900s, okay? You know what I'm talking about. You were at the Payless too. You know about it.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, we were in a small town. That little clothing store in there, they didn't have Izod all the time. It was Le Tigre, baby. But that's when you kind of had to hide it. You would, when I got my license, I could go drive to Toys R Us, but if you bought that Lego, the lady looking at you funny. I remember getting asked, "Is this for your little brother?" Yeah, flat out lie, or my cousin or whatever, because you were ashamed of it, man, and that's not cool. But
I still I got bullied at my previous job for playing with Lego from a couple of people. They didn't bully me as much as give me that look and go, "You still playing with them Legos?" And I'm like, "We're grown-ups. Why are you acting like this?"
Well, in my job, usually being a kids pastor, people think I'm just doing that to follow. I'm like, "Nah, I do this for fun." And you get some of the, "Oh, that's nice." And when they get to come down, when like a family comes over and like, "Hey, can we see the Lego room?" I'm like,
"No."
Yeah, you can, but let me just understand, So they're like, "Whoa," because the madness is real,
I'm bringing this up again. I always bring this point up whenever we talk about how much Lego we have. Mm-hmm. If you were a woodworker by hobby, no one would say anything.
Right.
If you were a metal worker, no one would say anything. If you were a mechanic on the side with a 74 Chevy Nova, no one would say anything about how much stuff you had. They'd say, "That's an impressive collection. Good job." Since it's a child's toy, therein lies the, why is a grown-up playing with this? Because it gives the same fulfillment as those other things I've named and much, much more.
Yeah.
We don't say anything about the size of your garden. And you don't need all of them cucumbers.
Right. It's funny. It's funny. I can remember growing up with Lego, and my dad was like, I played with erector sets when I was a kid, and you kind of giggle at that name when you're 13. But anyway, so I remember he would buy me an erector set, and I didn't know how to work it. So, I would do it, but I didn't think that way, but he did. And so it's funny now with my son who's 15, and he's grown up with Lego. He's grown up with Lego that's been sorted, so he doesn't have to scratch through bins. He does not know how to do it. He knows how to unsort, but he's learning how to sort now.
Yeah,
his summer job. But so me sharing Lego with him, which he loves to build, but he's like, "But Dad, have you looked at Minecraft or Fortnite?" So he's building more virtually
Yeah.
now. So his kids are going to be, he's going to be like, hey, you kid, to my grandkid that I'm going to have one day. He's going to say to his grandkids, hey, play Fortnite. And he's like, Dad, I got holographic, whatever. The creative medium is going to change, but the basic fundamental is you're still trying to build those childhood dreams into reality. At least that's my thing that drives me.
Absolutely, but in the same respect, though, this has lasted through generations.
Yep.
And no, it is a child's toy, so it at a certain age, the majority will fall off.
Yeah.
But then again, he's doing the Minecraft, but he's still playing with those physical bricks.
That's right. Before we were doing this, he ran in here so excited because spoiler alert, Fortnite is bringing Captain America playable fig for $20. Dad, I got $20. You got $20? He might have to sort some Lego to earn that a little bit, but yeah. So he's all excited about that. But with that creative drive and connection and stuff like that exists, even in all that kind of stuff. But growing up in that small town, there were none of my friends play with Lego.
Yeah.
You go to their house. My friend Jeremy had one little castle set that he put together, and it sat in his room. And I'm like, you want to trade? And he wouldn't trade. I had one friend that had a police station. He traded, and I got some parts out of that. I can remember. But my friend Mark was the only one who did it, and it didn't last long for him. He didn't, once he got into, I can remember we didn't pal around as much, even in our small town, but I can remember taking him to he and I went to Toys R Us, and I was excited to go to the Lego aisle. And he's like, well, that's not a big deal to me. And I'm like, yeah, me neither, but it's kind of cool. Playing off all that kind of stuff.
Why would it be a big deal?
Right. But growing up, though, we used to go to Augusta, Georgia, which was 45 minutes from my house. That was the big town, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a little corner toy store called the Toy Box in an area called Daniel Village. It's right by a commuter airport in Augusta, Georgia. And so we would go there. And I can remember vividly to this day walking into that store. They had a lot of toys that other dime stores that I was used to had. They had Matchbox cars instead of Hot Wheels. Yeah. And they were British or whatever. And my brother, who was older, he would collect the Matchbox cars. He had a blue Mazda Spider, I think. Anyway, that he had to get. But then they had board games that were like Starfleet Battles back in those days, right? And they had China dolls that my mom loved to live in. And this room, this toy store was as big as this room. I can remember.
Wow.
And they had these little low shelves. And on those low shelves were those old school boxes laying there of Lego. And I can remember, vividly taking those, man, grabbing those and pouring over the back of those going, man. And I can remember the very rare occasion that Mom would say, okay, let's get you a Lego set. Usually it was a small one, but my first Lego space set was the Mobile Lab 680 something. I can't remember the number, but the Mobile Lab, it looks like the elephant trunk, right? But it came with two space dudes, red and white, and that's why I got it. And it had gray brick, and it had the gray space logo on that gray brick.
Nice.
And so I had to have it because you're like, this, I want to play space. And the beauty of those sets were they were non-themed except for it being space. You had space, you had castle, you later had pirates, you had town, and that was it. And it was open-ended play. The only suggestions Lego made for you how to play with it was that you flipped over on the back of the box, and there were other models that they didn't give you instructions for. It was ideas of how you can rebuild the brick.
Right.
That's what it was. That's why those sets are hard to find, because we got them, we loved them, and then we built other stuff and rarely returned it back to its original form and everything. So that was the beauty and the joy of Lego back in those days was to rebuild. Some of that's lost, but like I said, you enjoy your brick how you want.
Yeah, I'm actually finally, and I feel like there are different steps or different when it comes to the adult A falls or adult A falls.
From the Department of Redundancy Department. Good job.
Yeah. When it comes to AFOLs, for me, there was this goal, then this goal, then this goal. And these were goals that I had that I didn't realize I was having. And I'm now finally to the point where instead of breaking a set down for parts, I now stick it in the bag with the instructions and write the number on it so I can rebuild it again if I want to, or if the city comes back, I'll be able to pull out that favorite vehicle and put it right there.
Right.
I lost the Crater camper van is in this collection somewhere, parted out. I'm never going to see it again. Because I'm not going to pull the parts because I know good and well I've used the parts for other stuff. And if you've been an AFOL more than a couple of years, you've given somebody something.
Right.
There's a picture, you've sold something. It's not here. But anyway. So that's
the thing I'm bad about is when I've built something, when I've built my own creation, I've taken it to a show, shown it a few times, unless it's one of the big things that I built, is that when I take stuff to festivals, I pack everything in a big Ziploc bag so the parts stay with it, sometimes 2 or 3 things in the bag. So the parts at least stay with it, but I don't get home and then repart it. So I've got tons of old mocks, crumbling or whatever in my storage that I really need to break down and rebuild with. So, but the problem with that is I would rather just go to Bricklink and I need a couple more of those. And, I need to spend about $5 on Bricklink and then $60 later, you're like, I better cut myself off,
Right.
That kind of thing. So,
like for me, with my parts, I'm like at that point where I'm like, I've got every part I need right here readily available, and I got bulk that I haven't sorted, so it's my own fault. So bag up the sets I love and throw the others into bins,
Okay, the best and the worst thing has happened for just jumping to today. There's a guy who runs a site. I can't link it because it's not like dude.com or something easy. It's a real weird URL that I can't remember. But he has programmed it to go out and search bricks and pieces on Lego.com and lets you know every part that's new. He lets you sort it by color, all the parts, and gives you the part numbers to then search. He tells you all the printed parts. You can look at all the printed tiles. You can look at all the printed torsos. And I'm like, man, this guy is not a crack dealer. He's just the guy going, hey, he's over there. And it makes bricks and pieces so attractive, especially get rare parts.
Yeah.
And so, man, that's crazy, and I gotta cut myself off on that. Because it's like, hey, I can get 20 of those, sure, that kind of thing. So, but anyway, but in my day, that wasn't possible. We used to order off the back of the catalogs. I was in college the first time I ever ordered parts from the back of the catalogs. And I can remember going to my box, GT10473C. That was also my email address. It was also had to do with my box. Pulling blue Lego brick out of there and getting people going, what the heck is wrong with you, man? And I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm getting blue brick, because I wanted blue brick. I never could get a bulk of blue brick. That's why we Rainbow Warriored. We just didn't have the parts. And you have to build those parts in and everything. But yeah, it was a different age growing up when I grew up there wasn't even a term for adult fan of the Lego. It was, you're a weirdo. That was the term for that. And skipping ahead, when I got to college, though, I did find that there were others like me who liked Lego, and you discovered the internet a little bit, that there were others like you. And that was the tagline for Lugnet. You're not alone, right? So that was encouraging that there is at least one weirdo in every state that still likes Lego.
And that's an interesting thing. I can't even imagine like who the first AFOL was. I'm sorry. It's just I'm going out there. No, we'll bring it back.
No, but yeah, that is funny. I mean, there are some of the founders of Lugnet and stuff, but you go back, there's only a few names, maybe 1 or 2 that I still see in the community somewhere that were from those Wreck Toys Lego days. Some people lurked, like that kind of stuff. Little bit of trivia, I think in one of those Lego Usenet groups, the name for the robot from Star Wars Gonk, the Gonk droid, the television with legs, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing, came from that. Some guy on that thing says, you remember the robot called Gonk and the name Gonk? I think we figured that out by doing internet searches. That guy and some Lego forum randomly named that robot Gonk, and that stuck. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Isn't that weird?
That is crazy. I love it. It's so cool.
So weird. But anyway, so if you're a T-fall right now, you're living in some of the best of times to be one. Don't let anybody give you any crap about it. That is your art form.
If you don't think you can talk about it with people, don't try and push your luck. Just don't talk to them about it.
Right.
You're here for you. Come on.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But you know what? But you know, UBU, that the best thing that one of the best things that Jake did in his 8th grade year before going to high school, he had to build a cell, and he built it out of Lego, and everybody in his class thought it was the coolest thing they'd ever seen. Yep. Even his teacher, we saw her the next year, and she was like, "Oh, Jake, man, I remember when you built that thing out of Lego, and it was good and everything." Just consider it a medium. That's one of the things I don't think people get is Lego is a medium to express what you like and what you think and what you want to do. Yep. And it's more and more accepted now than it was back in those days that you can do that. So do it. I mean, put your shows on the internet, do your thing, express yourself that way, make it happen because you have the freedom to do it. And hey, if somebody makes fun of somebody for using or playing with Lego, I got your back, man. I'm not gonna let them do that to you. I'll be honest with you. I will make a very angry post. So
and I don't know if you noticed it or not, but the 350-pound bearded dude built a pink castle, and he dares you to say something stupid.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, people are. Oh, you built it? Cool. All right. Bye. I did get that at Bama a few times because I just knew that. Hey, Philly, there's some tough folks that live in Philly, but I'm telling you right now, some of the necks down in Bama, I just knew we were going to be like, "Hey, dear, what?
Hey, honey, let's keep moving. That thing's pink." You know.
And I do love my southern brothers. Don't you worry, it's okay.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, if I can encourage you anything in my experience, enjoy the acceptance, okayness, whatever the space you have to do the Lego how you want and do it. Just don't buy any Mega Blocks, please. Yeah. I don't care. I do, but
we're in a community. We're in a community that has a home for every single Lego type builder.
Yeah, they do. And that's
I'm talking about mocks. I'm talking about Star Wars. I'm talking about Star Wars mocks. Talking about this mock or this set or just the guys, only the guys that like the Lego movie. I mean, we've got each little category.
Oh yeah. Well, Brickblaze was in his little build before our show when we did it on Thursday. Then I popped in and he's playing with Chima. Well, the big running joke on our show is we dog on Chima all the time. So
that goes across the board. I only know like 3 AFOLs that like Chima.
Butt chop and yeah, right. So, but that's as long as when we do those things, like we used to do the space versus castle versus town rivalries and kind of goof on each other. But that's just friendly rivalry fun. If people take it too far, it's not fun.
Yeah, no.
And you don't want to do that. And so you never want to make anybody uncomfortable. But it's one of those moments when you do have that goofy fun. I like this, you don't like this, and we can we're friends enough that we can bust on each other. Yeah, then that's super fun, right? And
like I pick at you about your space love.
My what?
Your space love.
My space love.
Space love.
Wait. You mean? Hang on. Space love.
Funny. Push him up.
That's right. Push the glasses up.
Push him up.
We didn't do a push your glasses up moment. This actually, I built this for. The theme was love at Brick Fair, Alabama. It was 18. Whichever one that the one before y'all went to, and I did not.
So okay, hold up, no. I was at 19 and 20. I was a spectator on Sunday on 19, and I displayed in 20.
All right, so it was 19. 19, I think love was the theme. And I built that as a theme mock, this little space statue, and it won for best theme. And so it had the plaque on it, but everybody thought that this was the trophy. And they're like, what did you win that for? The thing, the heart thing and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I thought that was the trophy. No, that's what it is and everything. But hey, let me just tell you, this is maybe a good thought for team builders and everything.
You don't watch the show. I'm sorry.
We got to put this on the TikTok so they'll hear it. But anyway,
tell everybody about them.
This technique and everything I borrowed from somebody else. Okay. It is very rare that there's a whole lot new under the sun. If you think about the Bible or whatever, that, you're standing on, this is Bruce Lowell came up with the Lowell sphere and it's used all over.
Is that the ornament one or the tree topper?
Do what now?
No, I'm saying you said Lowell.
Bruce Lowell, yeah.
Did he design that or did he design the ball?
He designed the ball, but I think he may have done the heart. I
know the ball.
Yeah. He and Brahm came up with some of those kind of ideas. I didn't come up with those.
Nope.
And those guys don't mind because that's why you put it out there. Here's a technique. Use it. And if you use it, don't think it's like, well, I'm a less builder than them.
Nope.
I didn't create that. Okay. I put the space swoosh on it because that was my deal. I use their technique to improve myself. Iron sharpens iron. So that's why the community is so important, and involved in the community is so important because you learn off of somebody. And if you look at the buildings, if you look at what I built in 99, which maybe we'll show that on another day, I've got some of the first mocks I ever showed on. It's not even on Flickr. It's on Brick Shelf.
Get out.
I remember when Brick Shelf started. Thank you very much. If you look at those, they're awful. I mean, they're really bad. If you think about,
and that's subjective.
No, it's bad. But
whatever.
But all of a sudden, when you start, there's a combo of Lego releasing snot pieces back in those days, which we didn't have, and then you learning techniques from somebody else, and it betters yourself. It is a fast track to taking basic building skills to building the good stuff. If you will not be ashamed, and if you need to give cred, give some cred when you're like, hey, I stole this from Mark or whatever. Yeah. But then it helps you then figure out your own rhythm of building. And when you figure out your rhythm of building, you can start really leveling up your game and building stuff you're proud of to share and everything. And then all of a sudden you realize you're influencing somebody else. And that's an awesome thing.
Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry, I talked too long.
No, I was like, I got it. I'm going to listen. And then I listen and I'm like, crap, it's gone. I should just tone him out and then I'll be okay. That's fine. No, it's no worries. Not at all. I was going to say something. Oh, now I remember. I was talking to a fellow AFOL friend of mine. Mm-hmm. If you think that building those sets is dumb, don't buy the set, build the set. Because guess what, folks? This is for the kids and the adults. This is for AFOLs. This is for TFOLs. This is for anybody who will listen. This is for whatever. The person that designed that set potentially has had a thought in their brain that you didn't have, and going to show you a technique that you can use 1,000 times over, or something you can improve upon in your own mock or your own build. I'm the newer AFOL of a friend of mine, the two of us, and he tells me, he says, yeah, but you built more than I have, so you know exactly where the secret build is, because he'll say something I'm like, yeah, that was in set da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, oh. So yeah, I believe in set building.
Just to book in some things about, me and space and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that more, I'm sure.
You like space?
But anyway, when my son and I got the Saturn V, which literally is my favorite set that's been made in modern era, I guess you'd say. When I built that set, I mean, and I've been building when I got that set, was it 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Okay, 40 years I've been building Lego, and I get this set, and every step is blowing my mind because I'd never seen that technique. I didn't know that worked that way. You put that in upside down. How does that work? I'm being blown away, and I can't even remember all the techniques. And knowing that there's a couple of designers who are probably adult fans of Lego, and that's a fan built kind of collaborate, whatever.
Yeah.
Thinking, number one, you're thinking, man, I'm terrible. I can't build that. But then I got to learn from the set. And so if I need to figure out a certain connection, I can go pull those instructions out, or I'll pull them up online and go, oh, that's how that's not worked there. That's how and whatever. Don't think you are not a Lego master because you have to do that. What? A master has failed more times than a learner has tried.
Yeah.
So you got to keep moving.
Now, to piggyback on his piggyback.
What did you call me?
Yes. Late for supper. Funny story. I didn't ever build the Saturn V, but I got to enjoy the building techniques of it because the big A Hogwarts Castle, the big tower, is built just like the shaft of the Saturn V.
And it blew me away. It blew me away that there was no Technic in that Saturn V. I'm like, because I expected this weird frame and I'm just going to put some panels on it. And as we're plugging through that thing, I'm like, holy cow, this is all plate and bracket built. I've never seen this before.
These little fellas are Technic frame with panels pasted to them.
I do not like it. That's a personal preference.
I'm multicolored or rainbow warriored the old this guy.
Yeah.
Yep. And that build was so much more
it was just a brick experience.
It was exactly, yeah. It was absolutely what I needed. I put this together. I'm like, oh, okay, plate here. I'm like, it looks good, but I didn't enjoy the build.
Yeah. I have the buildable minifigure that's like this tall, with the red shirt, blue overalls, green hat. And that's a statue, right? And taking like 3 hours to build that stinking hat with I didn't take that long, but I mean, it's made out of plates. I mean, there's so many green plates in that thing. And it got dropped in my office one time and I had to rebuild it, but had to pull those instructions out or download them and stuff, but it was just sheer brick and everything has its place. If you like Chima and its Technic, I'll pray for you. But
no, my wife likes the minifigs from Chima. She loves all the animals and all the animal print stuff. She thinks that's the greatest thing ever. She thinks that's the best line of figs ever. And I'm like, well, $10 will get 1,000 for you. So, well, she beats her own drum.
You know that Jake's joke when my son, Fazoom Jr., when we were at Atlanta Brick Company and we were wearing our mask, everybody who saw the pictures, big guy like me needs to take a fresh breath of air. And he was like, let's go to the Chima section. And because there's nobody there, which then that became the joke and all that kind of stuff. But understand, if I say that, I'm not making fun of your love of it. It's just, you can make fun of space all you want to. It's not going to offend me.
Nobody who plays with Chima watches this.
If butt chop is the first thing on here, that'd be funny. But anyway, that's the blessing that you young fans, even adult fans now, people coming into the hobby have now. It is an accepted thing, and that acceptance didn't come fast.
No,
it came through. There's a lot of builders like me who made connections in Lego. We can talk about that because when Lego showed up at Brickfest 04.
You're talking about one in DC, folks.
Yeah, the Brickfest. That's the old Brickfest, not Philly Brickfest.
Philly Brickfest or Brickfest Live is what the new one's called officially, according to official documents.
In 2003, the new kind of community manager guy, Brad Justice, I believe it was, showed up at Brick Fair. And you would have thought, I mean, this was a big deal. And all of a sudden, the 200 Lego fans there were like, wait a minute, they know we exist? And what does that mean? Do they think we're weird? Do they think we're okay? They've actually hired somebody that's going to talk to us. And in those days, in 2003, 2004, that became a deal. I mean, that became a big deal, and it got bigger, and it's definitely morphed into other things. But as an early AFOL and with some TFOLs running around, dude that gets a check from Lego shows up. That's pretty hardcore right there. It was a big
I want to go more into detail on that next week.
Sure.
Folks, I got Fazoom for at the very least 4 weeks. And if you guys love it, there may be. What did you say?
I said maybe 3 or 2. I don't have that much to talk about, but anyway.
I'll show you. And maybe this is something you guys like, and maybe we'll just change the name so it won't be clashing with other shows on my channel. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Forevermocking.com. I don't know.
But Chris, Zoom, you guys go to YouTube, support him. He's got a show every Thursday. Was it Thursday night?
Thursday night.
And then
Bricks Live, yeah.
And then you have a very long video. It goes on Saturday, right? Saturday, Sunday.
Sometimes if I can get my act together and get our video clips together Saturday or Sunday or whatever.
I bite it. Listen, folks, you're gonna have to bite it off in sections. Watch 10 minutes at a time. It's worth it. Do it.
Yeah.
It's just a long video. I like it.
Is that? Are you giving me creative criticism right now?
I would dare. I like it.
I need to know.
No, it's fine. You could do 4 shows. 4 episodes a week. I don't know, every other day. No, I'm messing.
I hear it. I hear it. I hear it right now. I hear it.
I don't know what you're saying because I can't even. Anytime there's a video missing, it's my fault over here. So
no, that's cool. Hey, and if you're listening, if you've got questions about the early days of the brick, let me know. I'm hoping maybe if we get the time because I got to do some stuff with Lego, and my friend Mark and I did a project for Lego back in 07, 08. You know, maybe you can bring him along to talk about that.
Hey, you know me.
But yeah, ask questions. I'd love to know because I mean, I'm been around the brick for a long, long time. I don't know everything by far, but a little bit of been there, done that, and as long as I'm here, Lego's going to be part of the deal because it's just my way of having fun, being creative, and doing the things I wanted to do as a kid 30 plus years later. So,
and if you haven't subscribed to him, when you see the video, go subscribe to him. Bricksar, I will put a link to Fazoom's channel in the description.
You're gonna use the description?
No, I'm going to use the advice of a saged man of Bricksar. And I know Bricksar's watching because he's like, Fazoom, when did he ask me? No, I'm kidding.
Well, he lives like 20 minutes that way. So, but.
Yeah. He lives in a P.O. box. Everybody knows that. All right. Okay, Chris, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the breath of fresh air. It's so nice not hearing about corporate Lego.
I have a minor brush with corporate Lego, and I can see what it did to Kevin, and it was discouraging even in that brush for me. So I can't imagine all that he went through. We've heard a little bit of it. But
but that behind the scenes stuff is
crazy.
Anyway, I guess from all of us here at Old Gray Brick.
To
all of you at home,
you gotta love those bricks.
You gotta love those bricks. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Chris.